Okay, so part two. Um, at I want to say my early 30s, I I realized that um, I think it was it's like I was sensing something, and I didn't know what it was at first. So at that time, I had been married for 7 years, and it was the strangest thing. Our anniversary was always January 4th, and well, it's always like it changes, but it was January 4th. It's always January, and we it was weird. Like I think we both felt it. We both felt a shift in our marriage. And it's like unexplainable. I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened. It was scary, but it was scary in a sense like I felt like there's nothing I could do about it. If that makes sense. Like I felt like it was over my head. And that year we went to a really odd place, but it matched how we felt, if that makes sense. So we went to in Florida. There's a cat. There's a cavern in Florida, and it's up in North Florida. And we went there for our 7 year anniversary. It's just a visit. You take a tour. You go through the cave system and everything. It's really cool. Um, and we just hung out there for like a weekend, and we came back home. We both didn't want to go anywhere. We both really did. It's almost like we both didn't even want to celebrate it. It was really kind of weird. I would never even be mad at him for it because it's like we both felt the same way. And anyway, I started feeling like there was something I'm supposed to be doing, or something that I'm supposed to be. It's like I don't know. It's just it was weird. Something was off. So at this time, my husband, who was we were he was staying home, and it was me, him, and the kids, and we were staying home. But then he decided that he he decided he'd go back out to work. I think we needed the extra money. It wasn't really that bad, or I don't know if it was a part of the shift. Something was off, but he went to go make just extra money. So it was it was cool at first. Actually, he was already working before our anniversary, and it was cool. Um, what I love that he would do is on his way home from work, he would always call and say, "Hey, did you feel like cooking dinner? Did you want me to pick up something? Do you want us to go out?" I used to love that he did that. He always did that before he left work. And sometimes I would already have something that I'm cooking for dinner, or maybe I didn't feel like cooking. So I was like, yeah, let's go out. It'd be cool. Let's go out to go out and eat. So I love that. I love that he did that. He always did that. We went out a lot of places to eat. So we love to eat. But that was cool. And, we had been through a lot at that point. Um, but I started feeling like I needed to do something. Like, I was starting to feel kind of like, I hate to say the word useless. Nobody's useless, but I was starting to feel kind of like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, like overall in my life. So I did start I started talking to my sister. My sister was telling me, like, hey, you know what? She goes, I think you should write a book. I was like, write a book? I was like, write no book. I said, I don't know how to write a book. I completely forgot about my middle school days. Completely. And I said, I don't know how to write no book. And she was like, I feel that you do. I think you should write a book. She goes, of course you know how to write a book. She goes, and I said, I haven't done that, since, you know, whatever. I don't really know how to write a book. So She brushed it off and she just kept being persistent about me needing to write a book. So finally, her persistence pays off because I write a book. Well, there's stuff that went through. I decided, okay, I'm going to give this a try. So I sat down one day to give this craziness out a try. I'm going to try to write a book. And it was interesting. I sat down at the computer to write, and I started getting like hot and cold flashes. I had cold sweats. I was nauseous. I felt like I was gonna pass out, and I don't remember writing. I don't remember typing, but I typed. And I typed until I hit a paragraph where I couldn't take it anymore because I thought I was going to throw up. And I jumped up and I ran from the computer and I fell. And all of a sudden all that feeling went away. And I was able to pull myself back together. And I just sat there on the floor for a little bit because I was just like, I've never experienced that before. Well, I went back and I looked at what I wrote. And it was about this woman who has 2 daughters, and she's in an abusive relationship, and she's sneaking to get away from her abusive husband. And it's like that story actually is in my 4th book called Apathy, and it's a song of promise and prudence, their mother. So that's how long it took for me to actually get that story out. But it was crazy because it's like, where did that come from? Like, I've never experienced that before. It felt like I had all these emotions pent up inside of me, and me writing, I was finally releasing it, and it was one heck of an experience. So after that, I think it took 2 months before I would attempt to write again. And when I attempted to write again, I decided I'm staying away from the computer because I do not want to throw up on my computers. We spent like $3,000 on these computers. It's not going to throw up on them. And I want to say at first, my husband was supportive, or he was trying to be supportive. So I had grabbed notebooks. I went back to notebooks, and I was handwriting out the stories. And he asked, like, well, what are you doing? And I said, well, I told him. And he's like, oh, okay. But I was like, it became an obsession for me. So even when we went out to eat, I had a notebook with me. When we were home, I was writing in that notebook the whole time. I couldn't wait for Monday to come so that everybody can go to work and school so that I could write. I wasn't eating. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't napping. Like, sleeping was something I did to seem human. And when I slept, I dreamt of my book. So it's like, if you can imagine having so much energy that when you lay down to sleep, you're like, can't wait to get up, can't wait to get up, can't wait to get up. There's many times in the middle of the night I would catch my hand doing this. It was that intense for me. I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced that, but that's how it was for me writing Endurance. I would dream the characters having these conversations. I would dream the scenes in a different book. It was so much. And finally, I can see that my husband was getting irritated, because I wasn't present there anymore. And I completely understand how he feels. I don't fault him for feeling that way. So we started having arguments, of course. We started having, problems and things like that, which is normal. Um, and it was, I guess he tried to do things to get me to put my mind back on him. So he ended up having an affair with some woman at his job. And that book was so consuming to me. Can I tell you, I didn't feel that the way I should have felt that. That should have hurt me. And it didn't. It more like, all right, well, cool. That means I should be moving on with my life. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. Because my thing is, what had made me angry is when he had a dream and he's something he wanted to accomplish. I was the head cheerleader for his dream. I was moving mountains. I was tracking through the forest and the field to help him get what he wanted. You would think it was my dream and not his. So I felt like, okay, well, now this is my turn. Why can't you support me the way that I supported you? And what I learned through that is not everybody is gonna do things the way you think. That not, we all don't love the same, and some people are more. They love you for their own selfish reasons, so they don't know how to reciprocate. They don't know how to be that for you that you were there for them. And that was painful. So that had hurt me, along with me being consumed by books. Immediately, so you cheating on me is just kind of like you're giving me a reason to leave without feeling any kind of remorse or regret. That's what you're doing. And when he realized that that cheating thing wasn't working, he he was never interested in the girl anyway. So he literally, like, one day handed me the phone because I guess she kept calling him, bugging him. Handed me the phone for me to cuss her out, for her to stop bothering him. But anyway, we it's it ended up like we both ended up cheating on each other. Like it literally, we started like living like roommates, and you would never have seen this coming because we were used to be like this, like we were so close. We worked together, we lived together, and we didn't argue. We did not argue that much. So yeah, we had our arguments, but it wasn't that bad. And it got so bad. But all through this, I kept writing. It was the only thing that brought me sanity. So I would write. I was writing. I had calculated it one day. And the reason why I say that, in the beginning he tried to support me because he did. So there was something that went wrong with our computers, and he brought a used computer that his job was getting rid of. He brought a used computer home for me to write on. He's like, here. And I thought that was sweet. This is before things, really went ugly. When I knew that things were starting to get ugly was when I wanted to read my book to him or read what I wrote to him, and he wasn't interested. And yet turned around and sent me something else or showed me something else and said, that's a real writer. He hadn't even heard what I'd written, but yet that's a real writer. And that's pretty much when I knew, like, okay, he's not going to support me. He's not he's not trying to support me right now. So, I started to kind of keep it to myself. And I tried to, on the weekends, I tried to just be present with the family on the weekends. And then on the weekdays, when he went to work and the kids went to school, I wrote my butt off. And in 3 weeks, that book was done. So, In 3 weeks, the book was done. The first draft was done. And I didn't know about second, third, fourth, fifth drafts. I didn't know about all that stuff. And then I thought, like, if I send it to a company, this is where I learned about vanity publishing and all that stuff. If I sent it to this company, that they're going to edit it, and I'm thinking they're like a traditional publishing company because I don't know. And I'm thinking they're gonna have it edited. They're gonna create the book cover for it. They're gonna do all these things for it, not knowing it's a vanity company. And a vanity company is basically, they just do all the work for you. As a self-published author, you're gonna do all your own. You gotta hire an editor, hire a book cover designer, or do what you can on your own. But you hire for you outsource all those different things. When you go to a vanity publishing company, they do all that for you. But it's still your book. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to understand how it works. So at that time, I didn't understand that. I thought that editing was included, and I didn't find out till the day before it was set to be released that it was not going to be edited. And I was shocked. I was shocked. I didn't know that my book would not be edited. I thought that was a part of the package I paid. I spent like close to $3,000 on this package, and only to find out that it only included. It didn't even include. They didn't even do the book cover. All they did was format the book. Now I think about it, it was really a waste of money. All they did was format the book and make it available on Amazon in print. I think I might have had to pay extra for the ebook, and that was it. Almost $3,000. You could do that on your own for free, even back then, and I didn't know that. I found out though. So there was nothing I could do. The book was going to, and I thought, okay, well, and then again, next step in my ignorance, I thought, okay, well, it's not like anybody's going to see it. It'll just be available for my friends and family if they want to read it. I'm not really comprehending that it's going on Amazon. It's going on the World Wide Web. Anybody can find it. I'm not really. My daughter had made the book cover for me, and she did a good job. I still love it, okay? But it's not professional. And they were like the worst. It's like the more I think about it, how much I paid for what I got, I want to find these people. But anyway, it's crazy. This is why my heart goes out for when I hear other editors really going through some crap, or not editors, others too, authors, when they talk about their stories about what they went through to get their book published. I feel for them. I feel for you, because I've been through some crap myself, and it is not nice. It's not nice what people will put you through just to separate you from your money. So to get the book edited at that time, they were telling me that I would need to pay 75 cents a word. Endurance had over 100,000 words in it. So you do the math. Yeah, that didn't happen. So it went live. I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't want to. I told my sister about it, and that's about it. And my sister tried to help me with editing the book. God bless her soul. She tried to help me, but it's over 100,000 words. That's not no easy feat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot. So and me at that time, I was still a high school dropout. I dropped out of high school probably when my oldest daughter was like 1 or 2. I had given up, and I just worked at a family business. Well, it wasn't a family business, it was my aunt's business. And until that fell through, and I didn't really have, a good education. No fault of anybody else's. It was my own choice, my own bad decisions. So, I, grammar is not something that I knew. It's just not something that I knew. So what I had to do was, and I really didn't know where to begin to look for an editor. But the first thing that happened is I got angry, which is a good thing. And I got frustrated. But what I did in my anger is I realized how I see things. You're not going to fix anything until you stand up and take accountability for what you did wrong. Okay? So I have to point the finger at myself first. I didn't get the education I needed to get in life, period. 1. 2, when he told me that was going to happen, I should have asked for a refund. I should have got my book, I don't think I could at that point, but I'll figure out a way or something to stop it. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I should have done more research. And that was the most important thing. I should have researched all the different ways to publish a book going through an agent. Now, if I had went through an agent, they would have, okay, you need editing, you need this, you need that. And they would have rejected it and sent it back until I got that sucker right. They would have told me everything I needed to do to get the book to where it needed to be. That's what I needed. I didn't know about that. So much. There's just so much. I had to take accountability for my mistakes, and from that day, I've been working to correct it. And it sounds like it should have been easier taken care of in a couple of months, but no, because what happened as I'm trying to correct these mistakes, the story keeps coming, and I'm compelled to write, so I have to write. And within like maybe 3-4 months, I had 2 more books out. Not out, but 2 more books. Well, yeah, I had Broken. Now, Broken, I learned from Endurance, and I did get that sucker professionally edited. Broken is a lot better than Endurance, editing-wise. Very good. I never have any issues with Broken. Then I had Spirit. Spirit was really thick. Too thick. We'll get into all that stuff later. But while all this was going on, of course, my marriage is falling apart. And my husband's turning violent now. So now he's starting to... It went from verbal... So he got verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, psychologically abusive. Then it turned to, and when none of those things were working, verbal abuse is not working. Him trying to break me down mentally, psychologically, it's not working. And he realized it's not working. So then the last resort is physical. So it turned physical. It ended ugly. It was the weirdest time when it happened, because we had decided, okay, whatever went wrong with our marriage, you know what, let's bygones be got bygones, let's fix this, let's make this work, and at the same time, he was also, I know that he was sick, but he was hiding it from me, which I never understand. Why would you hide it from me? Because they used to call me the herb lady, and not because nothing illegal. They used to call me the herb lady because I grew up in a family of herbalists and nutritionists, and we turned to herbs. We use a lot of herbs, so that's where I don't even have it on me. I made a supplement called Lung Rescue I have it in a tea and the capsules, and these is from my background of knowledge of herbs, and it works really well if you have, not just for your lungs, but it's also good for your whole entire body. I take it and I don't smoke, so there's nothing wrong with my lungs, and I take it. My daughter takes it, so I have it for kids also, but I don't have it available publicly for kids as yet. So anyway, if you're sick and it's really bad, I'm your wife. Why don't you come to me? I don't care if I'm writing a book. Like, you should have told me that you were sick. And he just didn't want to tell me. And instead, he just got angry at me. I guess I was supposed to, like, be aware. I don't know what it was. And, I had to, like, be my own detective to figure out that something's wrong. And I'm asking him what's going on. Would you tell me? And he won't tell me. He would talk to me in riddles. He'll tell me about how, oh, women have many lives. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you can always, you're young, you can remarry and move on. I'm like, why are you talking like that? Like, he would just say these off the wall things, and it's just like I had to pull it all together, realize. And then I had gotten a strange call one day from a doctor's office, asking if he was okay. I was like, yeah, why? And they're like, he didn't tell you? I was like, he didn't tell me what? And they're like, oh, well, you have to speak with him. So I was like, well, I'm his wife. What's going on? They wouldn't tell me. So he's never told me. He never told me. I could only guess what was going on. And, but I felt like that was stupid, because if I had to trek through the Amazon to find you the herbs you need to fight whatever's going on in your body, you're my husband, I'm going to do that. I'm the type of person, if I tell you I love you, I love you. I'm not playing games with you. So it was sad and unfortunate that that's a path he chose. But I have to respect his decision. For whatever reason, he didn't want to tell me. For whatever thought he had in his head of that, what it would make me do. Honestly, if he really wanted me to stop writing and focus on him, he should have just been honest with me and told me what's going on. Like, hey, babe, I'm sick. They don't know what's wrong with me, or I don't know what I have, or I have this or I have that, and I'm scared. I would have dropped everything for him. But for whatever reason, he chose to handle things by picking up with another chick, which is just foolish. Anyway, that just had the opposite effect on me. So, anyway, I went through all of this mess, and I go through all of this to say this. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Don't ever let anybody tell you that, you can't do something you're passionate about, as long as it's not harming somebody else. So, I hate to say this, that things happen for a reason. Now, just so you know, like me, my ex-husband, he's not dead. He's still alive. So whatever it is, he's worked on it. You know what I'm saying? But I just wish he would have told me. I would have been more than happy to help him. Two heads are better than one. But there's nothing I could do about it now, and it happened in the past, so there's nothing I could do. The relationship ended violently, and I'm not going to get into details, but I forgave him. And I forgave him because I can't move on harboring all that resentment and bitterness in my heart. I can't be free. And let me tell you, even after I forgave him, it didn't mean like my life got easier. Things got harder. Things got really hard for me. So I'll talk about that more in part 3.